Hey, what's up, guys? I want to talk to you about wholesaling real estate. Wholesaling, basically making money connecting a buyer and a seller. It is not that hard. In fact, it's super simple to actually do this. So guys, my name is Dustin Heiner with Master Passive Income. I want to help you learn how to quit your job by investing in real estate rental properties so you never have to work a job again. Now, wholesaling is really simple. Now, it is work. It's going to take work, but it's really, really simple to make a quick $5,000, $2,000, or $10,000, depending on what you can negotiate. So here's really what's going to come down to when you're actually doing wholesaling deals. When you're doing a wholesaling deal, you're finding a seller and you're finding a buyer, and you're putting them together and you're making a commission for that. Just like a realtor would, you would be connecting a buyer and a seller. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to get licensed. You don't have to take classes. You don't have to do any of that silly stuff. You don't have to become a broker or any of that. You can actually do this business without having any training whatsoever and literally connect people, make sure that they both get what they want, and then make money on the deal. Now, if I were to get started all over again investing in real estate, this is what I would do. Number one, I would start searching for distressed properties. Now, distressed properties, those are basically ones that, the weeds are growing really, really high. There's newspapers in the driveway. The paint is chipping. It looks like nobody's home. There's cobwebs everywhere. That's a distressed property. That's a property that needs work that the owner is not taking care of. Well, who knows? You may have found a property that the grandma passed away sadly, and the kids, they just don't want to sell, or they don't have the time. They don't want to have the hassle of selling it. They just wish somebody would reach out to them and say, hey, can I take this property off your hands? And that could be you. Now, what you would do is after you find the distressed property, you contact the seller. Now, I have a video, watch in the description, on how to find who owns the properties, free ways to find properties. Check out the description for that. But easy way is go to the tax collector and see where the tax bill is sent to. Wherever the tax bill is sent to, more than likely that's going to be the owner. So send them a letter, send them a postcard. Say, hey, I really love your property. I'd love to talk to you about buying it from you. Get a hold of the seller. So that's the first one. Second thing is you want to make sure that you get it under contract. That's a big, big thing. If they just say, yes, I'll sell it to you for this price, but you don't have it written down, you don't have them sign it, you don't use a proper contract. If you don't do that, you're going to lose the contract. And if you try to go and sue them for losing out on the deal, they're going to say, well, we didn't sign a contract. Like, you can't hold me to anything. It has to be written down in stone. So once you find the property, once you have a seller, get it written down in stone. Basically, the details, how you're going to help them out. Maybe you might need to help them move. Maybe they don't have money to move. Stipulate that. You want to encourage them. See, now the big goal, I'm going to say broad overview of wholesaling. What we are trying to do as wholesalers is to help people. Now, of course, we're going to make money because we have to get paid for the helping that we're doing. If we view this as a way to help people get out of the problems that they have, let's say they want to sell this house, it's their grandma's house, they just don't want to remember like it was bad memories, or when they think about it, it comes up, they're sad, they want to sell the house. You're there to help them out. And let's say their grandma's stuff is still in there. They need to move in storage. Well, shoot, I know you don't want to do that. How about I pay for it? I'll pay for them to box it up and put in storage for you. How about I do that? That's a way, and then obviously your price comes down because you're negotiating, but you're trying to solve. You want to win-win-win with them. Now, here's a big thing. Here's a big pro tip I'm going to give you over everything. When you start in wholesaling, your number one thing is not to find a property. That's not the number one thing. The number one thing is to find who is going to buy those properties. Your number one thing that you need for your wholesaling business is a list, a laundry list of buyers. You want their email addresses, you want their phone numbers. You want a way to, as soon as you get a deal, to ship that out to as many people as possible. Investors like me I love buying properties from wholesalers. They're terrific. They give me great, great deals. No, I want equity. No, I want passive income. And they send me deals. I'll drink my coffee like this. I'll be drinking my coffee, looking at this is my camera or my computer, and look at my email all day or in the morning and check out the different properties that I get and say, you know what? This is a good property. This is from a wholesaler, or this is a bad one. Just delete the email. I have so many people sending me properties that I pick and choose now which properties that I want. I don't look for them anymore because I have wholesalers doing that for me. So you, as a wholesaler, what we need to do is create a buyer's list and then get as many people on there as possible. So then when we have a deal, we know to send them the right deals. We know to send them, hey, this is a deal I have, and hopefully we can sell, because the last we want is to have a good deal. and then not have anybody to buy it and then have to either give it up or something bad where you lose your earnest money. Another ball of wax. But what we want to do is have a list of buyers. Now, there are a few great ways that you can actually make money as a wholesaler in the transaction. Remember, you have a seller, and let's say you found a buyer. You're putting them together, and there's a great way, many great ways to do this. Another big pro tip is if you're doing a contract, you have to use the words and or assigns in it. So it'd be like, I, Dustin Heiner, and or assigns, I'm the buyer, and or assigns over to somebody else. And what it is, and I have a whole video. There's so much to talk about in and or assigns. I'm not going to do that. Check in the description for everything about how to use and or assigns. But those key words are going to allow you to be able to assign that property, that contract, to me as an investor or somebody else as an investor. If you don't have that, if it's just your name on there, you can't assign that. You can't do it without their permission. You have to go back to them. Hey, I was going to buy it, but now I need to assign it to a buyer that's going to be paying me money for it. Instead, you say, I'm an investor. I'm a wholesaler too. I may assign this to somebody else. I may buy it. So I'm going to add and or assigns on there, which gives me the option to take care of you the way you need it. I want to make sure you're taken care of, like you're talking to the seller. So that's huge. So check out the description for that video on and or assigns. Now, when you're writing out this contract, you absolutely need to stipulate everything you talked about, because you're negotiating with the seller. You're negotiating that with them, the price, when you're going to close, if you're going to be moving their stuff out or whatever it might be. You want to help them out. And in that, you document everything inside of that contract. Now, what I've done in the past is a wholesaler would come to me and say, Dustin, I have this contract. It has and or assigns on there. I require a $5,000, basically a payment, a fee to transfer this or assign this contract over to you. So you get the property, you buy it for this agreed upon price, and I get $5,000 as a wholesaler. Wouldn't that be fantastic just to make $5,000 just signing over a piece of paper to somebody else? Absolutely. So that's one great way. And I've done that many times. Now, for you as an investor, never write a check to that wholesaler. Like literally never do that. You don't know what's going to happen. You put that in escrow with the title company. So as everything gets done out, that's when the money's distributed to the wholesaler. So for investors, I'm trying to protect you too. You want to make sure that the money goes out when they actually closes rather than writing a check, because you never know. It could be it could be the wrong owner. It could be like they found somebody and they documented. It could be bad. So everything goes through a title company, so we protect everybody. So now what you do as the wholesaler is you can get a fee up front, or you can say, on the purchase price, I want 1% of the purchase price from the buyer, 1% of the purchase price from the seller, just like a realtor would. Realtors actually collect 6% total, 3% for the buyer's realtor, 3% for the seller's realtor. Now, what's interesting is if you're a wholesaler and you say, I want 1% on both, you're charging them 4 points less or 4 percentage points less, and you're making more money. That's another way to do it, is making money on the close and the price alone. Now, or price of the property. Now, another great way is if you do a dual closing. Now, I personally don't like this, but this is an option where a dual closing, you're at the title company, you are ready to close with the seller, and you have a buyer right here. Well, you'd make one transaction where you put it into your name, pay the seller, and then within 5 minutes, the transaction goes out and goes into the buyer's, the investor's name. So your name is on the title, which isn't the best. That's why I don't like that. I want to have my name not on there, where it goes directly, and there's another way to talk to the title companies. They'll be able to walk you through where it goes directly to the buyer if you assign it over to them. But another way is a dual closing, and you can also take money or charge both the seller and the buyer. So I'm closing here, so I'm making money from that transaction. And then let's say, for instance, you have a contract for $50,000 from the seller for a property, but you found somebody who wants to buy it for $75,000. Well, you don't want to, they're already going to pay $75,000. You don't want them to know how much you're paying over here. You don't want to make $5,000. You want to make $25,000, close on the property, and then resell it, and you make that $25,000. That's another great way. So the wholesaling is great because you are the middleman, just like a realtor, but you don't have to go take those tests. You don't have to study. You don't have to work in an office. You don't have to have office hours. You don't have to be everything that a realtor does, but you have to work a little harder because you're finding the seller and you're getting a list of buyers. You're connecting them together. So that's it for wholesaling. Check out this other video right here. I want you to get started investing in real estate, and this is how to do it. This is the and/or sign video. Make sure you're watching that one too. See how to do it well. All right, guys, we'll see you.